This is episode 15, part 2 of What's Been Better. So, we are picking up where we left off last week on our conversation about race. And like Tori said, we curse a lot, so be prepared.
But what was the thing that kept that from happening, Sylvia?
Harm and fear.
That's what I'm speaking of. And when you have this level of superiority in your mindset that you are better than someone else, that's what you do, or they don't matter. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so then from the person who is marginalized or devalued, how do they shift? Because if you're devalued, there's a feeling of I'm being devalued,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm speaking of there's a change in the mindset that has to occur. So these things won't happen.
On
I don't
both
know how they
sides,
would.
though, right?
Absolutely.
I-
Absolutely.
So what you were just talking about, like with gentrification, you were like the devaluing of people and recognizing the culture. And man, Mom, I forgot what you just said, but I'm responding to that. So hopefully you can tag in there. But I think that like it's important. Oh, that's what I was responding to. I think it's important to recognize that even if someone devalues you, you still have your value.
Mhm.
And I think like I had a debate in college about racism, and I hadn't heard this thought before until college. And the students, there was a whole debate on if Black people can be racist. And when I heard it, I was like, of course we can be racist. Like, of course that's the thing. Like in my mind, I just thought that was that one person. But then it was a whole debate. It was a skate ring full of people who were like discussing if Black people can or can't be racist. And I've had several like arguments or discussions. After that, I started to recognize it more. I'm like, oh, this is a widely thought concept in the Black communities. Some people really just don't think Black people can be racist. And the core of what I have, the rebuttal is that because we live in this system that is set up for Black people to fail, we ultimately can never be in the position to be racist because we cannot systematically be racist. And that I can hear that. Like I hear that, but I think ultimately this system is created by people, and people do things, and those actions are started by thoughts. And ultimately, the thought that is at the core of racism is fear and hate. And that thought can be in a Black person's mind, a white person's mind, an Indian person's mind, a Filipino, and it could be in there. And to me, what I'm responding to in the comments that I was talking about earlier is the thought of fear and hate that I'm saying we as Black people need to check ourselves. We want people to respect us, to treat us right. And as humans, we deserve that. But we cannot achieve love by putting out hate. Like, and just being casually okay with it. All three of the things I said were casually said. Actually, the cocaine comment, that person, I heard the hurt in them when they said it. But the other two comments, don't get with a white person, and the joke on Instagram, they were joking. They were casually saying that. So you're so comfortable with the hate being there, so comfortable with not even recognizing that, hey, this is kind of hate and this is kind of fear that I'm putting out. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, I don't like, I have this, I wouldn't say I've experienced racism like personally one-on-one, but I've lived in the system of racism. I live on the south side of Atlanta. I see, as soon as you go north, I see the vivid change. I see it. But I personally do not feel like throwing hate back out will ever get anyone to an equilibrium.
I give you that.
I'm like, what is our aim? Like, ultimately, what is our aim? Because I have realized that I think some people really are of the mindset, they're like, I just want to be separate but equal. Like, and if that's what you want to be, then I do understand some of the comments that are being said. Because you're saying, fuck y'all, I want to be in my own space with my own people, and I just don't want you to kill me while I'm walking down the street. And I understand that, but for me, I don't want you to kill me or my brother or my cousin or my uncle while they're walking down the street. And I want us to actually get along. I actually want to hear what you think, and I want you to hear what I think.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying. I hear you. Okay, I gotta go way back to Black people being racist or racism. Those are outward actions to me. I don't know how old you are. Did you watch The Real World, the very, 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 very first season when it happened?
No.
All right. Kevin Powell, who is a very prolific writer, said something extremely poignant in those first episodes. He said, race plus power equals racism. If you live in this system, yes, you have been a part of this system. I give you that. The system has harmed you. I'll give you that. You are now meeting the hate and the anger that was put upon you with the same amount of hate and anger. I'll give you that. But as a Black person, are your actions powerful enough to devalue an entire neighborhood of white people? To make white people's schools devalued? To make sure that they have no grocery stores in their neighborhood because they can't afford them? Or only put Black businesses in white neighborhoods? Is that, this is what I'm saying about when I say, like, okay, I don't think that we could necessarily be racist. We could be we could go off of stereotypes. We can be very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Prejudice. We could be prejudiced. We could not want to interact. We could be separatists. We can be people who, yes, I want to live in my neighborhood with my culture and understand and feel safe amongst my own people. Yes, totally understand that. But can we be racist? I don't know. If the context of it is that you must have some type of power over the other person to inflict that pain, I could say all the things that I want to say. You could say all the same things that I'm saying. But are we going to generationally devalue a whole set of people? No.
So this response I have is, if the disclaimer I will say is, this is coming from like a thought, a spiritual thought, more than I can say like what you can physically see.
Okay.
And outside of that realm, I don't know that people would agree or hear me. But I refuse to accept that I have lost any power as a Black person because of how white people see or treat me. Like, to me, to say that I can't be racist is to say that I have less power than I have. Like, no, I have just as much power to inflict hate on someone as they can. You may not see that, but my words have power alone. So if I use my actual words to hurt you, they will hurt you. And maybe we won't see it. We may not be seeing it in the numbers, but that is going out there in the world. It is hitting people. If I'm sending verbal arrows, they are hitting people. I don't exactly know how it is landing, but I know that it's there. And I think that Black people, to me, it hurts because I hear cousins, I hear friends, and I'm like, y'all, you are not victims that are like forever in a victim position. Like, if we are really going to step into a king or a queen, If a beggar came up yelling at a king or a queen, that king is not about to fight that beggar. He's really not. He's really not coming for them with petty qualms and petty statements. But if they're on the same level, or if we feel like we're beneath, then yes, if we feel like all we have is our verbal words that we can throw at them, then yeah, I see where you're coming from. So for me to just throw petty comments like that, like the ones I was referring to, or to say that we can't be racist, to me is to devalue our own selves.
Okay. I'll give you that.
And from that perspective, that's what I'm saying. It's like, as we shift, we need to know who we are first. We have to really understand, and this is everybody who feels devalued in any way, because when we're talking about race, we also have gender inequality as well. And for a woman to feel inferior to a man, like, there is no inferiority,
I'll
but
give you that.
we claim it. And when we claim it, then it becomes so, right? It's about what we acknowledge, what we accept within ourselves. And I think a major shift could happen. A major shift could happen from a spiritual perspective, like Tori was saying, if we deemed it so, if we first started to decide to love ourselves instead of expecting something else or someone else to love us, to accept us, to embrace us. Fuck that.
Right.
No, I don't need you to embrace me. I need to embrace myself. I need to change the trajectory of the thing. I need to change the narrative. I know who I am. And when I know who I am, I can move. I can do differently. I don't have to subject myself to this thing.
I think this is why I scream so much that we all need to get on one accord.
Mm-hmm.
I think if like Tori said, if we understood our own power, then yeah, we could move, like you say, Lori. But I think we're so separate, and we don't understand history. We don't understand where we come from. We don't understand. I know you're going to say, Lori, like we can't go back to the past. Okay. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. I don't think that we have to have that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to harness the power of what it means to be a descendant of a slave.
Mm-hmm.
We are descendants of people that went through some of the worst times in man's history.
Mm-hmm.
The power of that is unimaginable. Like, that's the part that I take from it. And I don't think that people necessarily take that part. Is like understanding that we are here because somebody was like, okay, I'm gonna get beat today. Okay, I'm gonna pick this cotton today. Okay, I'm gonna endure this today. And I'm going to live in spite of. And then someone will come after me and they will have better than.
Right.
And then the same thing comes from like the next generation. Okay, we have to survive the Dust Bowl. We have to survive seeing the hope that there was in Reconstruction. And then watching the KKK be introduced and ripping all that apart.
Right.
And still endure.
Right.
We have to survive the stock market crash where we were all doing well. Everyone. Tulsa, Rosewood, Atlanta, all of those around the same time. We have to survive all of that in spite of.
Right.
We've got to survive Jim Crow. We've got to survive the school to prison pipeline in spite of.
Right.
But we're just not on all one accord because some of us are drawing strength from that and understanding like, I got to be better because somebody else went through way worse.
Right.
I have to survive all of this and do better because the next goalpost is still going to be pushed back. Ain't shit you could do about it.
Right.
It's the same as how I was talking about Lewis Hamilton. the best driver to ever walk this planet. And what they do, they push the goalpost back in the last lap.
Mm.
But in spite of, he's still doing it. He's still proving to us that we can keep doing this. Still we rise.
Right. And I love that mindset, because that is the mindset. And we have to remember that it's not about us against them. It's about right against wrong. It's about love against fear. It is that thing. And yes, I agree with you about looking back, about the resilience, not so much about the beatings and the whippings. Yes, those things happen, but we don't have to live there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer enslaved from that perspective. Is there an enslavement that's still taking place? Yes, by all means, especially when we think about the prison system
Mm-hmm.
in the 13th Amendment. So
Mm-hmm.
I get all of that. However, if 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 we don't change how we think, we will stay the way we are. The things that keep happening will continue to happen, and we will continue to feel downtrodden and, oh my God, why does this keep happening to me, and why do they keep shooting us? Really and truly, it comes from how we feel about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Once we start to change how we view who we are, a lot of this will change.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll still fight against fear. We will, because that's a perpetual thing. It's going to keep coming. But then we'll start to understand our purpose in this world.
I think, like you were saying, Mom, it's the thoughts that we have. Like I love what you said, Sylvia, like the progress of like seeing how our people survive through things and knowing how they made it through. And even listening to you saying that, I was like, they have to be very mentally strong.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be mentally strong, because I like am I because you could just kill yourself. You have access to these things. You could
Exactly.
in mass, y'all could do a mass suicide. Like just like y'all could just be out of here. But they found something that they tapped into to be able to survive for the next person.
Yeah.
They held on to hope. You could do whatever to someone's body, but you cannot control their mind.
No.
You can affect their mind. You definitely can. But and you can control it as long as they let you control their mind.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot maintain control of their mind. And what I see on both sides, on the good and bad, is I see the effects of that slavery. Some people, I feel, mind like we can still be enslaved in the they have control over us mindset, because of the system that we live in. The system that we live in does affect us. This racist system does affect us, but
Mm-hmm.
it cannot limit us more than we can limit ourselves with our mind.
I'll give you
And
that.
I'm saying, what I hate the most is seeing people I care about, and I know like you can do so much more than you're allowing yourself to think that you can do.
Yeah.
And to me, when it comes to comments like, oh, I don't have the power to inflict like this whole system. I'm like, we can fuck shit up if we really wanted to. If we wanted to, we could. So
I
no,
get
I
that.
refuse to say that.
Okay.
Like,
I hear you. I get that. Yes. Historically, have we attempted though? I say yes because let's hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, yes, we have had points in time where we all got together and fucked shit up. The Montgomery bus boycott,
Mm-hmm.
the voting rights situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go
Rosa
back and
Parks.
read. Yeah, more than her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a daughter of Tuskegee. I appreciate her, but so
Mm-hmm.
many more than her.
Mm-hmm.
So many more people. Colette Colvin definitely did that shit before she did.
Yeah.
And she does not get enough credit.
Right.
But I feel like, yes, there were times the number of plantations that were burned down because the slaves said, fuck this, we ain't doing this no more. Yes, there are points in time Haiti exists because Black people said, oh, hell no, not no more.
Right.
But also then pivot and look at how they were devalued.
Mhm.
That's the struggle I'm saying. Haiti exists the way it exists today because, yes, somebody came in and devalued them. It was America and it was
Mhm.
France.
Mhm.
Yes. Have they tried to uprise and stick together? Yes. But I'm with you. If we all got on one accord, we could fuck shit up. I don't know when that day will come again. I thought I wholly I had rose colored glasses on, but I thought I don't understand why it happened because it still doesn't make any sense. But I thought when the George Floyd situation happened and the whole world was at home watching it on TV and people got in these streets and said, we're not doing this anymore. I thought that was the moment. And then everybody wanted to join in. And the problem with everybody wanting to join in is that everybody is not on one accord. So now you have people who literally wanted to fuck shit up. They started burning shit. They started looting. Who were not, I will say it to this day, I don't give a damn what anybody says. It was not the original people who said we are not going to take this anymore. It was a very specific set of characteristics that said, let's burn shit. Let's fuck
Right.
shit up.
Right. Because
Totally different people.
they weren't on that accord.
No.
They were on the fear accord. That's what I'm saying. It's infiltrations of things. And I also understand too that after a while, just like Floyd, when somebody's foot is on your neck, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or your whatever body part he had on his neck, after a while, you give up because that weight is so heavy.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where we are right now. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it was easier to just keep the boot on our neck. It's
Mm-hmm.
easier for people.
Yeah.
This is how you
I think
have
for
such a. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
the people who started looting, like, I think I wonder if I asked them, do you think you can make a change? If they believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you did, would you resort to looting? Like,
Yeah.
would that have, if you thought that your voice could make a difference, if you thought that maybe your actions could make a difference, would you start looting and burning things that affect not just the people you don't like, but everybody else too? Like, would you go to such drastic measures if you thought you could actually make a difference? I feel like that is being at a place where it's like, I don't feel like I can do anything else but take this down with me.
Right.
I feel like that's where people who loot are at. And I'm saying that I want our Black people to know that with our minds, we can make a difference, an actual difference in the situation that we are in. If we're all on one accord, I think some of us think that, yeah, we can make a difference, but we don't really know how to do it. And we need other minds to do it. And there's some of us who are like, I don't even care to try to make a difference anymore. There's some of us who are like, I don't care to make a difference. Fuck them. And then there's some people who are like, maybe we can, maybe we can't. Like, I think there are a lot of different places where we're at. But like for Haiti, if I feel like if you're devalued for so long, you might start devaluing yourself and you
Oh,
forget
yeah.
what you could do. You forget what the people who started this did. Like, if everybody in Haiti was like, no, remember how this started and came together? Even if America and France devalued them, I truly feel like as a whole country, they could be better.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is, I need Black people to stop hating on white people long enough to recognize we don't have to hate on them to get to where we want.
That's it.
I feel like we ain't even got to think about them. Why the
Thank
fuck
you.
are we even think about them?
And not white people from that. It's the
The
power structure,
system.
right?
Yeah.
It's not to say I don't like white people or we don't like white people. It's not even about that, because there are people in all races that are full of fear. And I'm gonna say fear because it's only two emotions. It's only love and it's only fear, and all the other negativities come from fear. And everything else, from a positive perspective, comes from love. And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's all over the place. It's just that the white power structure has been allowed, and I'm going to say allowed, to be in power because we don't understand our power.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. And if we did come into power from Tori's perspective, how would we be? Would we be like them?
Hell no. Absolutely not. Okay, wait.
But how do I know that if that's what we're saying? If
how
we're
do
saying
you
comments
know that?
like, no, that's what I'm saying. That's literally what I'm saying. I'm like, if you're saying thing like, oh, if I'll throw this cocaine back on the street because it's like, oh, well, if it's a white person, that to me is saying like, I'm okay with the white person dying or being killed. Like their life doesn't mean that much. That, and I'm saying to say comments like that is to say their life doesn't mean that much. So if we were in a place of power, would we not do the same thing?
All right, y'all don't gotta agree with me. I wholly don't believe it. Hell no, I don't believe it. All right. Nothing that has ever caused mass destruction has really ever been caused by a black person. Let's just think about that.
I get it.
We don't even have the fucking ideas to do this type of shit.
I get it. Yeah.
We have never done any shit like this. The shit that's going on with the environment, black people would fucking never. We are too connected to this earth. We believe too much in this earth. We value this earth too much. Right. It might be on the surface where you see a few people who don't give a damn. But as a whole, especially as the people who came from the continent, there's no fucking way that we would do harm in the ways that other people have done. We have never gotten together and said, all right, we ain't doing no more work. I don't feel like farming this land. I don't feel like doing any industrial work. I'm not doing none of this shit. We've never enslaved people. Not en masse like that. Fuck no. We have never caused a Holocaust. We have never said, round up all those people that don't look like us or live over here in this other neighborhood or pray to a different God and let's put them in a gas chamber. We have never. I don't think that it is ever going to be in us. Hell no.
So is it lies when we talk about how some Africans have treated other Africans?
No, it's not lies. It's not lies. No.
Okay.
I think, however, that example is thrown up as a diversion to what has been done in real life history that is well documented. Okay. I think it's thrown up as a diversion. I think it's the same diversion as when people are like, well, Irish people were slaves too. I think it's the same kind of diversion.
Right. And
the
I'm
shit
just
has
being
happened.
Right. I'm just thinking like Idi Amin and how he was and even slavery, selling our own people out, you know.
I get that. I get
Rwanda,
that.
You know, and I understand what you're saying. That's real diabolical shit, you know, with the gas chambers and the environment and, you know, and there's real diabolical. And at the core of me, I would hope that we would not be that way. But when you hear a lot of like on social media, like what Tori's speaking of, you hear a lot of that and it's coming from a place of hurt. But I wonder if we had that same power, what would we do with it? And so we have to start shifting how we think now, so that if something were to happen and we do have this type of power can be destructive in a lot of ways.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and so it's like, what do you do when you have that kind of power that is had now by a different system of things? You know, if we had that, what would we do? And I will say what's in our hearts right now is going to come to pass. Whatever our heart,
it would be amplified.
Exactly.
I'll give you that.
So if we allow prejudice to bloom in our garden, like it's living there. It's everywhere. And then we're now giving power. We're giving some type of seed that amplifies that. What is it going to do? Like, it's not going to change it. To me, it's going to give us room to be what we hate. And what I'm saying is, I don't want to be that. Like, I love Black people. Love them. I love them. I love Black culture. I love my cousins. I love my family. Like, so when I don't like racism at all. So I'm like, y'all wrong. Y'all being racist. But then then I hear somebody on my side. I'm like, no, you can't be like that. You can't say that.
Yeah.
We got to be better than that.
Yeah.
Like, and I truly believe what goes around comes around.
Mm-hmm.
If
Right.
you throwing it out there, I'm like, yo, bro, that's gonna bounce back. Like, I don't want that to bounce back on us.
Mhm.
Don't put that out there. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
I give you that. I mean, we all know I'm all for Black people. I'm rooting for anybody Black. So if it was me, let's just make me the example. I get power now. The global majority is going to thrive if I have power.
Mm-hmm.
White power structures and white power systems and whatever you want to call them, white supremacy, white anything. I don't give a fuck about it
Mm-hmm.
or them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about harm.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm not about to be like, go out and harm these fools or
Mhm.
or enslave them or do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gonna have to do this work by yourself though. We're not helping.
Right.
That is just me. So
Mhm.
I'm not coming from a place of hate, but I am coming from a place of like, go over there and do whatever you want to do by yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
However
I
you
will
get
take
it is
apathy
however you
over
get it.
hate.
Say
I mean,
again?
I feel like, okay, I said I would take apathy over hate. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think apathy would erode stuff over time, but
Mhm.
ultimately it's not as bad as hate.
Mhm.
And to
Yeah.
me, from what you're saying, it doesn't sound like you have hate planted in your heart.
No, I
It
just don't
doesn't
give a
sound
fuck.
like you have a lot of, yeah. So giving you power wouldn't be harmful.
All I
Like,
want is for people who are full of melanin to win. Just fucking
When
win.
how? What does that mean?
Whatever it means to them to win. If it
Mhm.
means that everything that you have going on in your bubble is taken care of and that your people are eating every day and that your people can afford whatever it is that you want to afford,
Mhm.
if to me, the very first thing that would go would be money.
Mhm.
You better
Mhm.
have some fucking skills if you're coming along with me.
Mhm.
You better know how to barter, how to do, how to give, how to share,
Right.
how to
Yes.
interact. Because I'm
Yes.
not dealing with money because money has fucked up a lot of people,
Mhm.
even Black people. It has
Right.
fucked us up. So
Mhm.
money is not going to be the thing.
Right.
We're going with skills. You
Right.
better have some knowledge. You better have an activity. You better have something that you
Right.
can bring to the table
The
with
skill
me.
set,
Everything.
tools, now yes, all of those things.
Because you
Yes.
watch you watch people in different countries, different cultures, and their architecture has withstood how many centuries.
Mhm.
And then you because it's not along this system, it's devalued because now it looks like a mud hut. They don't even have air conditioner
Right.
because they didn't have to, because they figured out a way to do it without that. They are
Mm.
much smarter than us.
Right.
They are
Right.
not taking from the earth and then harming the earth.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So
I
you better
love
have
it.
some skills if you're coming with me. If you
Mhm.
don't know how to do anything and you've only had people do stuff for you because you didn't want to or you didn't think you needed to, or everything has been handed to you because this system has worked for you,
Mhm.
you are going to be harming yourself. I don't need to do any harm to you because you are going to be by yourself.
Right.
So
I
I don't
think
have any hate, but I'm
right.
not about to help.
Right. Well, I'm rocking with Sylvia. I'll be in her tribe. And then I would add a big ass boundary. so,
Yeah.
so
You
that
can't come
construct
back over
can't come
here.
back over. Like
Yeah.
that whole influence can't even permeate
No,
through the barriers. Like
no,
there would
ma'am.
be such a barrier that it's just impossible for you to penetrate that.
Yeah. That's
Well,
where
Yeah,
I
I'm
am.
down with that.
And I know that somebody would probably say that like that
wait,
sounds like hate or that's as much hate. For me to say that like I'm not going to help, I'm not helping you because I know I don't, what did James Baldwin say? James Baldwin said, I don't know you personally, but I know you historically.
Mm,
And historically, you haven't done any fucking work.
right.
Historically, you have not helped, you have harmed. So I'm going to let you go with everybody else who is like you over there and
Mhm.
harm.
Right.
It's just like the school shootings that have just happened. God bless all of those people, those teachers, the poor husband who wound up having a heart attack and dying because his wife just was murdered. How they have been met with, they need more guns. I'm gonna round up all the we need more guns people. Y'all all go by yourself. You get what I'm saying? I don't have hate for you. You're foolish. I don't understand you, but you can't come over here. Yeah, you can't come over here with me and mine.
Because that's an influence.
Yes. And your logic is illogical to me and mine. Like you said, we got to come from a place of love. In my space, we all have love because we are all going to share. We are all going to interact. We are all going to build together. We are all going to disperse these skills and reach back and teach each other. Each one
and
teach
heal
one.
each other.
Yeah. With the earth, because this is where we are. You all want to have guns to do the work for you and to harm other people and feel like you need control. Go over there.
That's coming from a take, harm, kill, destroy perspective.
So it's not hate for me to be like, everybody that's not full of melanin can't come. It's a sense of like, again, historically, you haven't shown that you want to be down for the cause and for what's better.
So the boundary would be, would the boundary be melanin, or would the boundary be?
Oh, I just want a physical boundary.
It's
what I'm saying is, I'm saying what would be the qualifications for what gets into the physical boundaries? Like, would it be, do you have melanin in you, or would it be the values that you have?
We all have melanin in us. We all come from the same Eve gene. If you think about science, everybody got a little bit of something in them. It's really a mindset and a cultural thing, because I'm going to come back to what you said about culture. It's not going to be as easy as just looking at someone and saying like whether or not they could come along because of what they physically look like, because that's the system that we're in right now. It's a mentality thing. It's a cultural thing. It's a belief system thing. It's a principle thing, as you would say, Lori. And eventually, I believe, y'all could disagree or not, I believe that certain people would be left. And those people will probably be lacking melanin.
Yeah, a lot of them.
I'm sorry.
I don't disagree with that, but that left room for a lot of non-melanin people to still be within.
Oh, absolutely.
But it was just like a lot of it still be without. And that's, to me, that's all I'm saying. Like, I feel like ultimately,
and I feel like black
now,
people would be left out.
Exactly. I was going to say there's a lot of melanated people be left out.
It would be Asian people. It'd be a lot of people left out. But what I'm saying is, y'all go on your side and we'll stay on ours. We are definitely going.
Now I'm jumping over the gate.
I wholeheartedly am. I'm okay with it being separate. It's never going to be equal. I don't believe that it could be equal, because when you are of a mindset of people who have this mentality are going to continue to build. People who do not have this mentality are going to continue to destruct.
Exactly. And they'll eventually, Tori, kill each other. They'll
eventually die out. And
they'll just die out.
This is how it won't be separate but equal, because if you are over there being destructive, you are not going to have equal favor like we will have. You are not going to have equal parts of all the things that we are going to build and become, because you don't even have that mindset. So yeah, they'll be killed off. And I don't have anything to do with that. And I don't give a damn what happens to them. And that's not hate, is what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, that's not hate. I don't give a fuck what happens to you.
Right. That's not her business.
Exactly. Yes.
I really rock with that. But what I feel like you've made a distinction between your people just being you've made a distinction between your people, your tribe just being melanin, and then a distinction between your tribe being people who have a mindset that is different, a mindset that is trying to build. Those are two different things.
Okay, I'll give you
when
that.
I was referring earlier, some people were like, my people are Black people, my people are melanin people, but they're not looking at how they believe and what they're spewing out of their mouth. Those are different things.
I'll give you that.
Like, so if you saying because you saying Black people would be on the other side, there's some people who can be left behind. Those are the people who, while they were Black people, still had hateful things to say.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm
they
definitely down
there
with being separate from the hateful people. Yes, take your hateful shit and go. Like, that's
yeah.
Right.
And I mean, and that's I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Lori. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
That's what I'm trying to say. I guess what I'm trying to lead with is, I would prefer that it be melanated people, Black people that I'm surrounded with, because there's also this level of comfort, creature of habit comfort, that I know, like, you're going to understand me when I make this reference. You're going to understand me when I say why we need this particular thing. You're going to understand me when I say, like, how we do things. And there's not going to be this head-butting fight, or we constantly have to stop what we're doing and explain to you why we need to do this way, because your way never worked.
I think that is what you're saying is based off of how you're raised. Like, if you're exposed to like white people or non-melanated people and vice versa at a young age, you will understand. You were there when he bumped his head on that wall. You now know why we need to walk slowly over there. Like, that's not based off the color of your skin. That's based off the exposure.
So here we come with the culture again.
Yeah, but I'm saying, to be of one culture, we have to be willing to spend time and understand each other, to be able to have those conversations when you realize, oh, we watch the same shows, oh, we like the same things. Like, I'm saying, like, right now I'm in a like more of a global situation, and you definitely have been in that, and I'm like, wow, I have really been in my bubble. I am now outside of that, and I'm realizing how I identify and feel similar. I feel similar. I have a similar mindset. I'm being able to recognize similar mindsets outside of my melanin skin.
All right.
And being able to get that comfort outside of just my melanin people.
So here's my, and I hate to say this, I don't even like it. I don't like devil's advocate, but here's my flip side of that. Where, yes, I appreciate that. I appreciate having a global mindset. Where I find it difficult is that, like I said before, I feel like those things have a time limit on them.
Yes.
This is the fuel that I was talking about in the friendship episode, that once you leave this situation and you are no longer in this scenario and the shit pops off, there's another George Floyd, there's another whatever, and the thing that is harnessed in you that affects you doesn't necessarily affect those people anymore. That solidarity runs out. That allyship runs out. Right. Those things run out because the fuel is gone now. You're no longer connected. You're no longer living in Spain. You're no longer working at the same place. You're no longer having to interact about these things. That show goes off TV. That book is now 10 years old.
Right. What do you have then?
What do you have left?
So what sounds like what Sylvia is saying, when there's a crisis, what is your character? Your crisis is revealed. Your character is revealed in a crisis. And so while you have these things in common, and yes, globally, it's like, oh my God, I found my other tribe, and this is beautiful. But when something happens that would cause a divide, where do you stand? Where do you stand?
I hear
are you
that.
Standing on the side of right, or are you standing on the side of wrong? Are you standing on the side of love? Or are you standing on the side of fear? Where do you stand?
So go back to the people that I said that I was in those situations with, and they were fast, hard friends and deepest, darkest secrets, and had dinner with and been on trips with and all these things. But when it came down to, this affects me, this could harm me, you showed me who you really were. So that's my only, I hear you. I believe the global perspective. I believe understanding that this world is much bigger than what happens in America. I believe that.
So I feel like I may have given the impression that this is like a shallow connection, and I'm still getting to know the friends I have here, but I think it's cool that we like the same shows and have some similar experiences. But what I really identify with is the love that I feel like when I'm having a hard time. Like I can, that the character that will survive to me is that love. Like how you
Right.
interact with, like when we have awkward situations here, how do you respond to me when I'm in this awkward situation? How do you respond when I have a bad day? How do you respond when I'm having a good day? How do you respond when the student pushes you off? I'm being able to pick on that, your character. And I'm saying that, yes, well, you've given an example of someone, a fast friend not working out. I don't feel like that means that all global friendships like this would be temporary.
No, I'm not saying that they are. I'm not saying that they are. I'm saying that, yeah, I had the deep connections. I thought.
I feel like it's with Black people too. Like for me, it is taking me effort to like be mentally and emotionally invested in this war in Ukraine. Like that's something that it's not, but that's the same thing. You want them to care about you and like people in America getting shot.
No.
Like how is that not similar?
I don't expect it anymore. I get what you're saying at the time, but I'm with Lori now of like, they don't owe you shit. You don't owe them shit. Right? Lori, is that not the same scenario of like, that ain't my business? Just like it wasn't their business to care about me going through what I was going through. We didn't have the same fuel anymore, and we didn't match each other's energy anymore.
And so it could be too that there's no connection. Right. You see what I'm saying? There's no connection. And so whereas that friend of yours could have been from Ukraine, right? And y'all were down for each other. And then when George Floyd hit, she was out. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right now, she's speaking from the same vein in the sense that she's kind of out, even though she didn't really have an end in the first place. And so right now, I don't have a dog in that fight either, right? And so some people could feel that same way about policing Black people.
Yeah.
You know, they could say, I don't have a dog in this fight. This is sad. This is not, you know, man, that's fucked up.
Right.
I don't have anything to say about that.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's one thing to not have anything to say, and it's a whole nother thing to join in with the oppressor.
Okay. So this is what I was trying to say, Tori, that I had that part. I didn't just have the, oh, that's fucked up. I had the, well, if they would just, or not all, this is what I had, and I had multiple examples of that versus, oh, that's fucked up. That's crazy. I don't know what to tell you. I would welcome, I can't believe that this is happening. I would welcome, like, I can't imagine. I would welcome that versus, oh, don't think like that. It's not possible. Or that's only over there. Or if they just comply.
That
shit's way different. And this is what I'm saying.
Type of thing. Like to say,
and those things weren't instant. That's what I'm saying. Like that shit had a time limit on it. Like it was only after it was like 4, 5, 6, 18 other examples. Once you start pointing out to me people, Tamir Rice, Alton Sterling, name after name after name after name after name, Breonna Taylor, all of the names. If you start saying their names and those people start looking that up, that shit becomes overwhelming to them. And they have a time limit now because they're like, oh shit, I can't handle all of that.
It was overwhelming to me.
It was overwhelming to all of us.
I agree. It was overwhelming to all of us.
But how did you respond is the difference, is what I'm saying.
Okay, I definitely don't think like you should you're not complying with something, like to put the blame on the person, the victim, is never the thing. Like never the thing. So no, I disagree with that. But I do feel like I have learned to as a Black person, be looking at other people's struggles. Like, that's what I would say I've learned that, because I want people to care about my struggle. Because one of my friends is a white person, she was thinking about the Native people who live in Hawaii and their struggle. And she was talking to me about that. And in my mind, I was like, I never thought about their personal experience and how they felt with people going and visiting Hawaii. That's never been a thing. But I'm starting like, okay, I can think about that. And now I work at a school where there are Ukrainian students coming here who don't speak Spanish. And so they have to be in these classes, and they're now in high school taking biology, taking physics in Spanish when they speak English and Ukrainian. Like, I'm actually feeling it. I'm like, oh, wow. Like, this is a thing that I may not have really understood, like crying because their second grade friend got bombed in a car yesterday. Like, I'm watching the girl, like I'm seeing the impact it is having, and it's making me realize that it is important to care about other people's struggle beside my own, especially if I'm going to ask other people to do the same for me.
It's important to care about other people. Fuck their struggle. It's important to care about other people. Their struggle happens. Yes, everybody's struggle happens. It's important to care about other people. All I'm saying is not everybody cares. Not everybody cares. And that's the hard part.
Are we going to care? That's what I'm saying. To my people.
Oh, I care.
Are we going to care about other people?
I care.
Yeah. And so I think what Tori is saying then, if you care, would you care about what's happening to the Ukrainians instead of saying, you know, I don't owe them anything kind of thing?
Do we care about what we're saying and putting out about other people is what I'm saying. Like, yes. Like, if we care, we will change how we talk about other people. If we care about people besides ourselves, we will change how we're talking about them.
We won't be so dismissive as they are as dismissive to us, because they cannot empathize. And that, I think that's the thing. They can't put themselves in our shoes. And sometimes it can be difficult for us to put ourselves in their shoes. We just have to stop. Even when I think about the killing over in Texas, like, for me, I can't even imagine. It's just so, it's disheartening to know that for 90 minutes, you weren't able to go in to see about your loved one, when certain police officers were able to go get their freaking children. They went into the damn school and got their children and fuck the other people.
And
are you serious?
Supposedly tased parents and held rifles on the other parents and kept them outside and didn't go in to help.
But they got their children. You know, it's like
kids.
Like that. It's almost some stage shit to me. It's some stage shit. But at the same time, I have to, at some point, I have to disassociate. I have to detach, because then if I go too deep in, if I empathize way too much, then these lower passions come in and I want to harm. You see what I'm saying? Because then I'm tapping into what's happening. And I'm saying, you're harming me, I'm going to harm your ass right back. And then I can't get anywhere. I can't get anywhere from that perspective.
And I think we all need to take that perspective, I guess, is lead with love and not try to have retribution and go back at them or eye for eye or anything like that. And I think, Tori, you said it also, like, what you put out is going to come back, like karma situation. I mean, yeah, this has been an interesting episode. We are going to wrap this up and just find some love in your heart for everybody else, but also find it for yourself first.
And the last thing I will say is, caring about other people's struggle to me doesn't mean that you have to go out and protest, that you have to repost every sad thing you see, that you have to watch and consume. It's just being, to me, for me, it's like open, like, oh, okay, I'm looking, I'm noticing now more than my struggle.
Right. I love it.
All right. Thanks for listening.
That's it for this week's show. I'm Lori Scott.
And I'm Sylvia Johnson. And you've been listening to What's Been Better.
A big thank you to Lagan Music Inc. for providing our music. This show is edited and produced by us with a little help from our family and friends. We love you all.
We want to hear what's been better for you this week. So send us a voice message or an email to questions@whatsbeenbetter.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at What's Been Better Podcast.
Thanks for listening.